Seabird here, September 30th, 2019. Beautiful 78 degrees this morning here in Arizona. Finally the weather's broke. Coming into the good time of year, so I'm just out enjoying it. Beautiful clear skies, a few clouds on the periphery, but nothing to worry about. We had a good deal of rain last week. That was a nice change of pace, cooled things off. What it takes is a little bit of rain to break the summer finally. A lot of bikes out on the highway today. A friend of mine just bought a new Lowrider S. Pretty cool bike. He's already dumped several $1,000s into it. Pipes and fairing, and pretty cool bike. Pretty cool bike. He wanted to know if he could ride mine. I says, yeah, go ahead, but you go first. I'll ride yours. You go first because you crashed mine. I just got myself a new lowrider. He thought that was not the way it should work. It was all good fun. So, October coming up. Lots of things going on around town. There's all the usual Oktoberfest type stuff. Some of it's a lot of fun, some of it's just a way for people to pick your pocket. But anyway, just cruising around. I'm going to try and take the Four Peaks Road for a short distance. It turns into dirt pretty fast, and Harley Davidson, it's not entirely a good dirt bike. Had a lot of roadkill out here today. Must have been a lot of slow animals this morning. Either that, they're finally coming out of hiding from the hot weather too. I didn't remember to upshift to 6th gear on this thing. It's so smooth. You'd be running around at a higher RPM in 5th gear on this Softail. I didn't even realize it. So, Four Peaks out in the distance there. Always never get enough of looking at that mountain. Mountains are like the ocean, are therapeutic to me. In Arizona we got a lot of mountains. So I see that the weather's changing around. Certain parts of the country is starting to get cold. I was reading on the news that the Northeast is about to get hammered with some cold air. So I feel for you guys out there, but I'm liking going into the good time of the year here in Arizona. I always said I could never move out of Arizona in the fall or winter because that's when it's nice. I did it years ago. I moved to Colorado for a couple of years. At the end of, actually it was Thanksgiving holiday weekend I moved. And not having grown up in snow, I was thrust right into it when I lived up there. When I unloaded my bike from the U-Haul truck, rode it to a buddy of mine's house. I didn't have a place to live yet, a permanent place to live. And I had no room at my sister's place for the bike. I rode it up to my buddy's house that lived up in Parker, Colorado, and it was snowing. It's flurries, and I went right from Arizona at 80 degrees, nearly 80 degrees, to snow. That was kind of a culture shock thing. I like living in Colorado. I like the summers. Growing up here in the desert, I was really taken by the changes of seasons that I hadn't ever really experienced since I was a small kid, and it was really weird because winter is winter in Colorado. But the snow to me was like a novelty. It didn't take me long to figure out how to drive in it. I'd driven in snow when I was snow skiing back in the day, and so it didn't take me long to figure it out. And also, it didn't take me to figure out long that I needed some some sandbags in the back of my pickup, as it would slip and slide all over the place. So I had to put like 250 pounds of sand over the rear axle to get it to bite. I had just a little Chevy S10 pickup. I could see why people drive all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive vehicles up there, four-wheel drive. Subarus are like a herd of them up there. I've never seen so many Subarus in my life. I guess that all-wheel drive Subaru system is pretty popular in snow country. I know I see it. It seemed like there's like every fourth vehicle was a Subaru. I mean, I looked into them. They're pretty expensive. A Subaru Outback, I think $37,000 to get one that's equipped decently. That's kind of out of my range for a car. I spend all my money on motorcycles. I just have whatever cheap American economy car I can buy because, again, I spend my money on motorcycles. That's what I like. Cars just transportation to me these days. Not like when I was younger. Cars were everything. I don't know, most of you people that are riding motorcycles these days probably started out with cars. I remember I grew up, I built model cars, and I lived for that, and modeling, and before I was able to get motorcycles, motorcycling was a bad word in my house. I don't think I could even mention the name. My parents would go nuts. But cars, my dad was an auto body man and mechanic and overall craftsman. I got my first car when I was 15 years old, a full year before I could legally drive it. My dad helped me fix it up. In reality, my dad did most of the work. I did just a lot of sanding. Had a 58 Chevy Biscayne and painted it the most beautiful shade of blue you'd ever seen, and the white top. It was a really cool car. I was 16 years old. I was driving an old car, but a really nice car. I paid $80 for that car, bought it off my uncle. Speedometer quit at 20,000 miles, so who knows how many miles it had on it. Straight six with a power glide, 2-speed transmission. I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. I loved that car, my first car. And I was the only one of my friends that had a car, so I was always the guy running around people to lunch and whatever. And I don't know, anybody's had old cars remembers vacuum windshield wipers. Well, the vacuum motors get old, or the lines get cracked, leaky, whatever. It would rain, and the only way the wipers would work is if you backed off the gas, because as soon as you gave it gas, it'd stop working. So in the rain, I had to drive it. I'd be driving down the road, it'd be raining, and the wipers would stop, so I had to back off the gas and coast for a while so it would clean the windshield. So if you went any distance, this was a constant on the throttle, off the throttle to make the wipers work. It was kind of funny back in those days. Ended up going to the junkyard and finding another vacuum motor, which did the trick. Old cars are a trip. There's a lot of things on them, but one thing about the old cars is you could work on them. You could fix things. I opened the hood of my Ford Focus, and I didn't even recognize most of that stuff. Uh-oh, what do we got going on here? Here goes. Somebody's there. Okay. Alright, cool. They must have just lost something off the bike. The guy looked like he picked something off the side of the road. I saw those guys at a gas station earlier this morning. Some sport bikes, I'm not sure what they are. Hondas, Kawasaki's, whatever. They were all painted like flat black, so it was hard for me to tell. Anyway, bikes are cool, don't matter what you ride. Small bikes, big bikes. You know, gold wings are not my thing, but I understand why people ride them. Those are the kind of people that go to Salt Lake City for breakfast. I always got a kick out of these guys. It's like BMW riders, you know, you see in the Craigslist, yeah, BMW for sale, '06, only 92,000 highway miles on it. Makes me laugh. Those guys really do some riding. And BMWs apparently are very reliable. I hope so, because they sure are expensive. I've checked them out. And they are pricey. People think Harleys are pricey. Got to take a look at a Goldwing or a BMW touring bike. Wow. God, it's beautiful out here today. The Forestry Service just lowered the fire danger so you can have campfires again. So next week, gonna go up to the Pines and do some camping with the family and some friends, and enjoy some cool air. It'll probably be really it's starting to get pretty chilly at night up in the mountains, but it'll be fun.